the Department of Justice dumped 3.5 million pages of previously classified documents onto the internet. For 2 weeks, the internet has been obsessed with the who. Who was on the planes? Who was at the island? Representatives Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie finally said the quiet part out loud, publicly naming 6 men:
the President, the Attorney General, the FBI Director, the Speaker of the House, and the Vice President,
who had been redacted for years, including retail titan Les Wexner and port magnate Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayman. But while the world is focused on the names, they are missing the system. Because you don't run a global blackmail and trafficking operation on a debit card. You need infrastructure. You need a payroll department. You need a mechanism to move hundreds of millions of dollars through the legitimate banking system without triggering a single suspicious activity report. The files released didn't just reveal crimes, they revealed a blueprint, a financial architecture designed to turn dirty money into consulting fees and hush money into charitable donations. Everyone is looking for the passengers. We are going to look at the engine. This is the invisible economy of Jeffrey Epstein, and it's not broken. It worked exactly how it was designed to. To understand the machine, you have to go back to the ignition switch. It wasn't the island. It was a single piece of paper signed in 1991. It was a power of attorney. Les Wexner wasn't just a client. He was the CEO of The Limited, Victoria's Secret, and Bath & Body Works. He was the wealthiest man in Ohio. And in 1991, he gave Jeffrey Epstein, a college dropout with a murky trading history, total control over his financial life. This is the first pillar of the hidden system, the proxy. Normally, billionaires have teams, accountants, lawyers, compliance officers. This creates a paper trail. Every decision is discussed, minutes are taken, emails are sent. But a power of attorney bypasses the team. It allowed Epstein to sign Wexner's name, borrow money against Wexner's assets, and buy property without Wexner seemingly lifting a finger. The new files reveal that this wasn't just about managing money, it was about insulating the source. When Epstein bought the massive Manhattan mansion, he didn't buy it, a trust connected to Wexner bought it. Then, the trust was transferred. It's a technique called layering. In the invisible economy, distance is the most valuable commodity. By the time the money reached Epstein's operations, it had been washed through enough legal structures that it looked clean. But how do you justify moving that much money to a financial advisor? You can't just write a check for services rendered. Or can you? Banks are required by law to flag suspicious transactions. It's called KYC, Know Your Customer. If you or I transfer $10,000, we get flagged. Epstein was moving millions. Why didn't the alarm bells ring? Because the system has a VIP lane. The newly released files show a staggering volume of invoices for vague corporate services. This is where the genius of the system lies. It wasn't hidden in a briefcase. It was hidden in the accounts payable ledger of a Fortune 500 adjacent entity. By categorizing these transfers as fees, the money becomes taxable income. It becomes legitimate. The IRS doesn't care if you're a criminal, as long as you pay taxes on the crime. Epstein paid his taxes. He treated his operation like a business, and because he paid taxes, the government treated him like a businessman. But the system was threatened. In the mid-2000s, the scrutiny heated up. The banks started asking questions. JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank. They saw the cash withdrawals. They saw the payments to young women. This is the peak tension. The moment the system should have caught him, the compliance officers flagged it. The automated systems flagged it. So, what happened? The revenue defense kicked in. The files reveal emails where senior executives overruled compliance officers. Why? Because the invisible economy operates on a simple calculation. Does the fee generated by the client exceed the risk of the regulatory fine? For the banks, Epstein wasn't a predator, he was a whale. He brought in high net worth introductions. The system didn't fail to catch him. The system made a business decision to keep him. But eventually, the law enforcement pressure became too much. He was caught. This should be the end of the story. The bad guy goes to jail, the assets are seized, the network is exposed. But this is where the real invisible economy flexes its muscle. In 2008, Jeffrey Epstein signed a Non-Prosecution Agreement (NPA) that has been called the deal of the century. But look closer at the text. It granted immunity not just to Epstein, but to any and all potential co-conspirators. Think about that. He didn't just buy his own freedom, he bought an insurance policy for everyone else in the black book. This is the dip. The realization that the legal system you and I use is the free version. The premium version, accessible only to those with the billionaire defense budget, comes with features like blanket immunity. The lawyers who negotiated this, Acosta, the defense team, they were part of the infrastructure. The millions of dollars funneled through the Wexner trusts paid for the legal engineering that made this document possible. The system worked. It protected the network, it kept the names redacted, it kept the cash flowing for another 10 years. So why are we seeing these files now? Why, on January 30th, 2026, did the firewall finally collapse? Because the invisible economy has a shelf life. When Epstein died, the revenue defense calculation flipped. He was no longer a whale, he was a liability. The banks settled, the associates distanced themselves, and the digital scrub began. We mentioned Reps Canna and Massey naming names.
That bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted.
But look at what happened online regarding those names in the last 20 days. New articles about philanthropy and business vision flooded the zone. This is the final layer of the system, reputation management. You use the same trusts, the same dark money, to flood the algorithm with positive noise, burying the DOJ files on page 10 of the search results. It is a digital war of attrition. They are betting that you will get bored, that the 3.5 million pages are too dense, too boring, too complex for you to read. They are betting the invisible economy is too invisible to film. Jeffrey Epstein didn't operate in the shadows. He operated in the blind spots of the systems we trust. He used banking privacy laws to hide money. He used corporate liability laws to hide assets. He used legal plea deal structures to hide accomplices. The release of these files is a victory for transparency, but if we only look at the names, if we only look at Wexner or Bin Sulayem or Prince Andrew, we are missing the point. The names change. The system remains. The trusts are still legal. The power of attorney laws haven't changed. The consulting fee loophole is still wide open. The invisible economy is still running. It's just waiting for the next client. The question isn't who was on the list. The question is, who is using this infrastructure right now? And what are we going to do about it?